Chapter 19 The Wild Woods. Wish Badger were here, Toad said. Tick-tock whirred and ka-chinked, and bright light spilled from his eyes, illuminating a small patch of the wild woods in front of them. And I wish Nanny May were here, Dorothy told Toad. But if wishes were free, we wouldn't have to bother with the baseball tournament. Now suck it up and help us find Alex. We have to assume Mrs. P went after him, since she didn't stay with Nanny May, so we're looking for her too. Alex? Alex? Mrs. P, are you there? Toad jumped at a snapping twig in the darkness. I don't know why you brought me along in the first place. Maybe because it's your fault he's gone? What was that? What was that? Toad yipped. He grabbed Tick-Tock's head and swiveled it toward a noise, but there was nothing there. Oh, if only Badger were here. Will you shut up about Badger? There was no path in the wild woods, so Dorothy, Toad, and Tick-Tock picked their way among the tall pine trees in roughly a straight line, just in case they got turned around. Dorothy scattered sunflower seeds from the dugout bucket as they went. Unlike the unfortunate Hansel and Gretel, who now owned a bakery in the Emerald City's Little Germany, Dorothy, Tick-Tock, and Toad didn't have to worry about birds or other animals eating their seeds. There didn't seem to be anything else alive in the forest at all. Leaves rustled nearby, and they froze. Perhaps there was something here with them after all. Who's there? Dorothy called. He doesn't love me, somebody whispered. What? Who's there? Show yourself. My parents will never get back together, a smaller voice said. Tick-Tock's headlights swung to where the words were coming from, but all they caught was the blur of a shadow disappearing behind a tree. I'm never going to be famous. I'm never going to do anything. Nobody notices me. I'm not me when I take the medicine. I'm just a clown. They only like me because I make them laugh. It's larks, Toad said. They're larks whose believers know better but refuse to give up their dreams, and it's driving them mad. Each time Tick-Tock turned his head, they saw a different shadowy figure clawing at itself just before it slipped behind a tree away from the light. All right, Dorothy said, I wish Badger were here too. The three cyclones drew closer together and crept forward, back to back to back. I'm so stupid, a lark whispered. I'm going to get caught. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm not real. I'll never be real. Alex, Dorothy called. That's him. It has to be him. She ran off into the darkness towards the voice. Tick-Tock's light bounced ahead of her as he tried to keep up. There was something trying to get away. Dorothy put a hand out to the shadows and spun him around. Pinocchio, what are you doing here? The marionette stared at his feet. I'm just a puppet. That's all I'll ever be. I'll never be a real boy. I'm not real, somebody echoed nearby. Wait, that's our boy, Toad cried. They let Pinocchio go and ran to where they heard the voice. Tick-Tock's light revealed Alex on the ground, curled up in a nest of pine needles. Mrs. P was standing watch over him and hissed when they drew near, then purred and rubbed their legs when she saw who it was. Dorothy bent to scratch her head. Thanks for looking after him, Mrs. P. I'm just a lark, Alex whispered. I'm nobody. Alex, it's Dorothy. We've come to take you back. Go away, Alex told them. I don't want to go back. Let's get him up, Dorothy told Toad, and together they pulled Alex to his feet. Leave me alone, Alex cried. I don't want your help, and I don't want to play anymore. Just let me die in peace. He pushed Dorothy away with both hands, knocking her back into one of the trees. Alex, remember yourself, Toad cried, and for a brief moment Alex did remember himself. He remembered his mother and father and his little sister. He remembered the hot pavement at the pool in the summer, backyard baseball games that went so late they couldn't see the ball anymore. The taste of the homemade ice cream and the smell of leather oil and the sound of a bat whacking a ball. But they weren't his memories. They were somebody else's. His entire life was a lie. He was a lie. Alex staggered back into the forest. Please, he whispered, just leave me alone. You really should listen to him, a gravely voice said behind them. Tick-Tock's head swiveled around, and his light caught Pinocchio, who stood flanked by two huge trees. No, not trees, legs. Great furry brown legs. Tick-Tock's light swept up and up and up until it shone on the jagged, grinning face of the big bad wolf. Don't you know it's dangerous to walk alone in the woods at night? The wolf said, and he snapped Pinocchio up in his enormous jaws and swallowed him whole. Run! Dorothy screamed, and there was chaos. Toad took off in one direction, Dorothy another, Mrs. P yet another. The big bad wolf swiped an enormous paw at Tick-Tock, who was too slow to run in any direction, and with a crunk, the wolf knocked the machine man's head off and sent it spinning into the darkness. The head rolled to a stop near the tree where Alex was hiding, and he watched the light from Tic Tac's eyes flicker out, leaving the woods in total darkness. Oh, Tic Tac, Alex whispered. His fear had drowned out his self pity, if only for the moment. Yes, Master Alex. Tic Tac, you're alive. But of course he was alive. Storybooks and larks could never be hurt, broken, taken apart, swallowed, even, but they couldn't die. I hear you, Alex Metcalf, the wolf said somewhere nearby, and Alex held his breath. I can smell you, too. I can smell all of you. It's hard to run away in the darkness, isn't it? Escape was impossible, and they all knew it. Only Mrs. P could see in the dark, and all she could do was run for Nanny May, who was probably still out of commission, or else she would have been there. The only way out of this was to fight. But how did you beat the big bad wolf? Tic Tac, Alex whispered. You have to be an oven, or you have an oven in your body, don't you? Do you think it's broken? It is operational, the machine man told him. My head can control my body, even when separated. Turn it on, Alex told him. He groped around on the forest floor until he found a stick. I thought you said you wouldn't eat anyone if they let you play baseball, Alex shouted to the wolf. He moved from where he had been standing as quickly as he could, swinging the stick in front of him like a blind person's cane, trying to hit the trees before they hit him. Well, a wolf has to eat, the big bad wolf said. His voice came from near where Alex had been. So I pop into the wild woods every now and then for a snack. No one's going to miss a few miserable souls who didn't want to be here anyway. Isn't that why you came here, Alex Metcalf? Don't you just want everyone to leave you alone, to hide away in a den of your own despair? Why don't you just tell me where you are, Alex Metcalf? Then I'll eat you up and no one will ever bother you again. The wolf was close. Alex could hear his big paws crunching in the pine needles on the forest floor. Alex kept moving, sliding his feet forward foot by foot, searching for Tic Tac's body. It had to be around somewhere. If I do, will you let my friends go? Alex asked. Alex, no, Dorothy cried from somewhere nearby in the darkness. Of course, the big bad wolf said, you have my word, which counts for exactly naught, Toad called, also close by. Don't listen to him, Alex. Shall I huff and puff then? The wolf asked. From the sound of his voice, he was only a few yards away, and Alex froze. I huffed and puffed on top of the beanstalk to blow your nanny away, and when that didn't work, I threw a tractor at her, the wolf said. I was going to come after you, then eat you up, but I had to see where you were running off to. I never dreamed you would head for my neck of the woods. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Alex could hear the wolf sniffling nearby. He had to keep moving. Something brushed his leg, and he almost yelped before he realized it was Mrs. P, leading him towards something warm. Tic Tac's body. He silently thanked Mrs. P and felt around until he found the door of the oven in Tic Tac's chest. He opened it and tried to get the stick to catch fire. Come on, he thought. Come on, come on, come on. It's only a matter of time until I find you and eat you, Alex Metcalf. But that won't kill you, will it? Not as long as someone is still dreaming about you. I won't truly have gotten rid of you, and that bothers me because I want to erase you from existence, Alex Metcalf. But then I had a thought, a very interesting thought. You're not a storybook. You're a lark. I can get rid of you once and for all. All I have to do is eat your dreamer, too. Alex froze. So that was it. That was why the big bad wolf had joined the Reapers. He was going to use his wish to become real and eat the real Alex, too. The stick in Tic Tac's oven burst into flame, and Alex was lit up for everyone to see. So was the wolf. His big face was right above Alex, his dripping fangs glinting in the light. Gotcha, he snarled. Got you, Alex said. Alex stabbed his torch into the dry bed of the needles on the forest floor, and the wolf's eyes went wide. The wolf huffed and he puffed, and he tried to blow out the fire, but his blast only fed the blaze. Whoosh! The dry woods around them exploded in flames, and Alex was blown back. But the wolf was too big to be knocked away. His fur caught fire, and he howled, a monstrous sound like death itself dying. It was the last thing Alex heard before a giant flaming paw swatted him deep into the dark wild woods.